Good afternoon, Fin fans, and welcome back to a new season of Fins News. I'm super excited to be back with you guys talking Dolphins football from now to the end of the 2023-2024 Miami Dolphins season. I know a lot has happened, a lot has changed in the Miami Dolphins team since we've last spoken. If it's not for us getting a new defensive coordinator, one of the hottest names out there in Vic Fangio, we bringing in Jalen Ramsey as our new CB1, and then having Xavier Howard play on the other side of him. It's going to be a dynamic duo again. It's going to take it to another level than what Byron Jones and Xavier Howard did a couple years back. So I'm super excited about that. For us actually getting a true middle linebacker, I know he does come with injury history. He's had back-to-back soft tissue issues. That is why the Tennessee Titans did get rid of him and David Long. But, man, when that dude is healthy, he's a banger. If you guys have not watched him play the middle linebacker position, go and watch some film on him. And, boy, we're going to be excited to see a true middle linebacker in the middle of our defense. Just hopefully he can stay healthy. I know it's a big if with soft tissue issues. And that's why, like I said, that's why Vrabel got rid of him, because he just felt he couldn't trust him, even though he is a banger, man. He can cover out of the backfield, the receiving type running backs out of the backfield. He can cover tight ends as well. He can lay wood across the middle. No receiver wants to go across the middle on this guy, but like I'm saying, if he can stay healthy, he's a great fit for this defense, especially a Vic Fangio type defense. I'm also super excited just to see the growth of like a Jalen Phillips, right? I mean, Jalen Phillips, he's always just almost there to the quarterback, right? I mean, if he was able to get those sacks that he was almost there a hair second too late, he would have double-digit sacks for the first 2 years of his career. So I'm looking forward to the growth in him this year. I'm expecting big things out of Bradley Chubb. I know he came here last season. He was real underwhelming. I mean, I get it. He came up pretty big in the playoff game when we went there and watched. I mean, he made some disruptive plays, but for the most part, it was kind of not a fail when we traded for him, because he's a great player. He's young. He's only going to get better. But I'm looking forward to seeing him grow in this defense, especially with Vic Fangio. I don't know if a lot of you know. I mean, Vic Fangio was the Broncos head coach with Bradley Chubb at his best years in Denver. So hopefully he can regain that magic he had as a pass rusher, because we definitely need it, especially with this schedule we're going to be talking about shortly. I mean, we're going to need the pass rush to be getting after. We're going to need the DBs to cover just long enough so those pass rushers can get after these quarterbacks and disrupt these quarterbacks' timings, because when you see this schedule come out, I'm sure you guys have all seen it because it did release Thursday. I'm filming this Monday. It will be released to you guys on Tuesday. So I'm sure you guys have dissected the schedule a little bit, but we're going to go in a little more detail. We're going to do it a little different. I did it the same way last year, and a lot of people liked it, so we're going to keep that same thing going. But we're going to need our defense to be on a string. Our pass rush is going to have to get after it, and our DBs are going to have to hold these receivers just long enough to throw the timing off with these quarterbacks in order for us to gain an advantage on defense, which I have all the confidence in the world that we will do it on the defensive end, especially, like I said, with Vic Fangio as our new defensive coordinator. He's going to know when to pressure, when to stay back in his zone, because he does like to run a lot of zone, guys. I mean, it's not going to be just man-to-man, zero blitz like we're accustomed to seeing the last couple of years, especially with Brian Flores. And then even last year we ran cover zero at, I would say, not the smartest of times. I mean, on 4th and 18, I don't think we should be running a zero blitz, or just on bad timing. We would run zero blitz package when we didn't need to, and then we wouldn't run it when we needed to. So our defensive coordinator, I knew, had to go. I know a lot of people wanted his job early in the year, but when you look back at it, I mean, we had a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball last year, so that, of course, didn't help. But I just didn't like how he wouldn't adjust when we had those injuries to kind of mask our deficiencies, So, I mean, I'm just looking for a completely different defense now. And I mean, with Vic Fangio, one of the great defensive minds. He's wanting to try new types of defense that he was thinking about when he was just being a consultant last year, I believe, for the Eagles. So I'm excited to see it, man. I hope that they come in strong from week one, and just continue to get better from there, right? Like, I know that week one might be a little tough, but I'm hoping they can come up week one, because we all know who we're playing week one. We'll get into it shortly. But I hope they come out guns blazing, ready to go, set the tempo from week one, and just get better from there. As far as the offensive side of the ball goes, I do like that we brought our running backs back. I mean, when they're healthy, like Raheem Mostert, he's a dog, man. I mean, watching him in that second Buffalo game, just running through people, even in the Green Bay game before he got hurt, or even if that was Jeff Wilson in the Green Bay game, they always run hard. It seemed like I love Raheem Mostert and Wilson together in the backfield. I think they could be a dynamic duo, but again, if they stay healthy, it's kind of a growing theme on our team, right? With how talented this roster is to think about. This is easily the best roster I've ever seen in the 34 years I've been alive. I mean, in the 24 years I've actually paid attention to Dolphin football, we can all say this is the best roster that we have ever had as far as talent-wise collectively. But they have to put it all together, man. It's not about how talented the roster could be. It's about working together, building that chemistry with the team, caring for each other, making each other better day in and day out with the grind of football, because we all know how long of a grind this football thing is, especially going to practices. Practices isn't that fun, but you guys got to push each other. Iron sharpens iron, baby, with the type of DBs we have, the type of receivers we have, the type of defensive line we have. I mean, all we can hope for is iron sharpens iron, and they all get after each other and make each other better each and every day they step on that field, and it shows in the product on Sundays, right? So that's all we can hope for. I mean, I'm being optimistic going into the season. As far as the offensive additions go, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If Tua's our guy, if we're going with Tua, which we are, Tua is our QB1 this year, why wouldn't the organization understand we got to build a fortress in front of them? They have to build a top 10 offensive line. And I'm sorry, going into the season, I get it. We have Teron Armstead. I get it. We have Connor Williams. I understand that. We got Robert Hunt. So we got three. But I don't know if any Dolphin fan, I know I'm not comfortable going into the season thinking we got Austin Jackson and Eichenberg protecting Tua, and not thinking Tua's going to take a big shot and maybe get injured. I mean, as far as we've seen multiple years of Tua now. We know he gets injured. Every year he's been injured with one thing or another, right? And that, I mean, it's not a knock on the kid. I mean, he's just maybe injury prone or prone to injury. I don't know, whatever you guys want to say. But when he is healthy, he can make some throws. When he gets going, when he gets that rhythm, he's hard to stop. So why not build a wall for him so he gets hit less? So there's less of a chance for your QB1 to not get hurt and stay and play a full 17. And I mean, even if we build a fortress around him, he might still get hurt, but I'd rather him miss, out of 17 games played, I'd rather him miss 2 and start 15 than miss 8 or 9 games, and then there's more question marks. Oh, well, when he's healthy, he's great, but he's not on the field to get us to where we need to go, right? So I know the organization sees it if all the fans see it, the majority of fans at least. The Dolphin fans, the true Dolphin fans, we see it. We understand. If that's your QB, if we're rolling with it, let's roll with them. But build a line around him. So maybe they're not done. It's still the offseason. But as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, I know we didn't really need as much as maybe the defense. But the biggest thing you need on the offense or defense side of the ball is trenches, both sides. I mean, the offensive line and defensive line wins championships, in my opinion. I feel that that's the way to build a solid team. Look at what the Eagles do. The Eagles always heavily invest in what? Their defensive line, their offensive line. Look at who they got in the draft this year. What, Jalen Carter, and then they got another dog out of Georgia, defensive line. So they always build through the trenches, right? So I feel that is the way to have sustain a great team, to help your quarterback grow, to feeling comfortable in the pocket because he has a fortress around him. He knows he has that confidence in him that these guys hat to hat can handle any defensive line. And I feel that Tua doesn't have that right now. He's a little jittery in the pocket sometimes, and that comes with good reason because of how much he's been hit in his young NFL career. If it isn't Jesse Davis letting whatever Bills lineman just completely demolish him in his first year or second year. I'm sorry. He's prone to getting in his mind. He's always saying, "Oh, I got to get the ball. I got to get the ball out, or I'm going to get hit." So build a wall around him, Miami. Learn from your past mistakes. And I know the offseason's not done, like I said, but that's kind of my rant for the offensive side of the ball. Just go. I know we got like a swing tackle guard from an expatriate the other day, but can we go out and get an established tackle or guard, whatever, just an established, maybe like a Taylor Lewan. I know he's getting old. I know he's been hurt. He used to play for the Titans. He's a dog, though. He can get after. He's going to be better plug and play right now than rather than Austin Jackson or Eichenberg, right? We already have. We have one of the best tackles in the game in Teron Armstead, but he's injury prone as well. So why not bring in as much of talented tackle / guards we can, just in case one of our guys go down and doesn't just blow up the entire season. So I'm hoping the Miami Dolphins do bring in a couple more tackles, or a swing tackle guard, whatever you want to call it, just for competition and for depth on this offense, just in case, which injuries always happen. If one of them or two of them do get injured for a couple weeks, it doesn't blow those couple of weeks out, because this entire season, if once we dissect this whole schedule, it's brutal, man. There's no other way around it. We have a tough schedule. But I love that tough schedule, because you know what? If they come out of this schedule alive, lack for a better term, like alive, or make it out and get to the playoffs, right? That they're contenders, because the schedule's brutal, man. And that actually leads us into what we're going to do with the schedule. We're going to break it down into quarters of the season. So we're going to look this week. We're just going to look at weeks 1 through 4. So we'll break it into sections like that. And I did it last year. A lot of fans had positive feedback about it. So we'll dissect the first 4 weeks and kind of just predict what our schedule would be for the first 4 weeks. And then we'll come up with an overall record at the end of the. I believe it's 4 different streams. There's 4 parts to it, either 3 or 4, but it's something like that. And at the end, we'll come up with our record prediction at the end because of the wins and losses we predict throughout. So the first game of the season, I absolutely love that the NFL schedule makers made it this game. Especially, I was at the LA Charger game and the Miami Dolphins last year, and I witnessed it with my own eyes how atrocious our offense played. Our defense, there were some questionable calls, but our defense, I believe, only gave up 20 points. But our offense, it was one of the worst offensive performances I've ever witnessed in my life. And I love that that's who we start off week 1, back on the road in LA. I should be at that game as well, just to see. It's just going to be an exciting time. Week 1, I have to be there. Can't miss that one. I'm really curious to see what Mike McDaniel does to counteract what we all know the LA Chargers defense is going to do. They think they figured out this offense already. They had tons of back-up DBs in that game, and they didn't care. They ran their defense. The defense they knew specifically game plan would beat Mike McDaniel's offense, and it worked. So I'm extremely curious to see how we come out. I know our defense. I'm hoping our defense is going to have a great game against Justin Herbert in that offense. I believe Jalen Ramsey will be able to cover whoever they want to put him on. If they want to put him on Keenan Allen because he's week one, he's healthy, so be it. He can lock him down. Xavier Howard on Mike Williams. We can do it that way. We got Javon Holland shading probably to X's side because Mike Williams is a big, big body. We have multiple ways to handle their offense. What I'm just so curious to see is, though, how our offense handles that defense. If our offense, which I expect Mike McDaniel to go in, it's week one, establish the run, set up some play action, get that defense off balance, which I believe we will do so. Even though I was not talking bad about the line, it is week one. I just want more depth. I want better players at certain positions to protect Tua in the long term. But for week one, everyone's going to be come out fiery. I believe, like I said, we're going to establish that run. We're going to have a physical run presence with Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, and I just think we're going to come out on top. It's going to be a close game, but our offense is going to look a lot better than it did in December, late December in LA last year. I mean, it was just a pathetic performance. If it wasn't for that scoop and score, that lucky fumble, Tyreek scooped it up in the pile and took off. I mean, that was the only real reason it was that close. I mean, when I look back at that game after I left and rewatched it, I didn't understand how we were even that close in that game, tell you the truth. Like, our offense didn't sustain anything. And, I mean, I just looked for Tua to come out, and he understands that was probably his worst career game. He's going to want to make amends for that. He's a competitor. He's going to come out. He's going to play a lot better than he did that night. I believe it was Sunday Night Football. He's going to come out a lot better. He's going to play a lot better, and I believe we beat him. We beat the LA Chargers. It'll be a close one. I would say it's going to be 27-20. Miami Dolphins come out week one out of LA. Their only West Coast trip of the year, which is good for them, and come out with that big dub. Get off to a good start. Set the tempo for the season, because let me tell you guys, with the schedule we have, I believe week one, not a must win, but it's definitely going to set the tempo to show us as fans, is this going to be a different Dolphin team, or is it going to be the same old Dolphins? So, I mean, I think it's a big game. I know that the Dolphins know it's a big game, so they're going to come out ready to go, and we're going to pick up a big dub that week one, baby. And then we go Sunday Night Football at New England Patriots. I mean, there's not much to say in this. I believe our defense is far superior to that offense. I know they got Mike Gesicki, but I'm not a big believer in Mac Jones. I mean, he's been arguing with the coach. I don't think him and Bill Belichick are on the same page, or him and the offensive coordinators are on the same page, because you've seen him constantly arguing. I do know they got rid of the offensive coordinator, but our talent is just far superior from the New England Patriots. There's not even that much time we need to talk about this one. I don't see any way, other than the fact it's at New England, but it's early in the year, so the weather's not going to be a big deal. I don't see how we don't come out of New England with a victory in this game. I mean, if we lose to New England in New England early in the season like this, it's going to tell us a lot about the team moving forward, in my opinion. We have to come out with the W in this game. There's no reason why we shouldn't. We got to stop their running game. For us on offense, we got to have a sustained offense. Tyreek Hill get open a couple times. You know they're going to double team him. If Tyreek Hill's double team Tua, do not force it. Go to Jalen Waddle on the other side. Go to your tight end, Schultz or whoever. I mean, not Schultz. I'm sorry, Smythe. Establish that running game. Our line should be healthy going into week two still. I know their defensive line is probably their best part of that team, but you got to just hit them in the mouth. Let them know we're there. Be physical, out-physical them on our offensive line, and we should be able to handle this game. I don't see it being that close. I think it could be close in the first half. In the second half, we kind of pull away. I see the Dolphins beating them 27-14, going 2-0 in the season, having a nice start, feeling good about each other. And then the next week is the week that I'm worried about in the first 4 games, it's the Denver Broncos. It's our home opener. I do know that. The Miami faithful is going to be rocking and rolling. It's going to be hot out there. Extremely hot for Denver, but I believe it's a trap game. The reason why I believe it's a trap game, a lot of experts, a lot of fans don't think Denver's going to be nothing. Oh, they're sorry. They were horrible last year. Russell Wilson's cooked. Don't think he's cooked so fast, because let me tell you something. With their new coach, Sean Payne, he's an offensive guru. What he did with Drew Brees and him, Russell Wilson and Sean Payne can have that same chemistry with each other and make magic happen. So do not sleep on those Denver Broncos. I know you think Russell Wilson's cooked. He's not. He didn't. Him and Hackett didn't get along. They couldn't communicate right. But Russell Wilson's a good quarterback, guys. I know he's getting older, but with him and Sean Payton, I mean, they could make magic. Their defense should be flying around, and they have a good defense already. So they're going to be in this game, man. I mean, I want, as a Dolphin, of course, I'm going to say we're going to win. I mean, but this game's going to be a toss-up, in my opinion. I hope and pray Tua plays well. Hope he gets the ball out of his hands quick. Our line protects him well, because those linemen are going to be coming after him, man. So I think the Dolphins pull out a close one. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Our defense is going to make one more play than their defense, in my opinion. It's going to be kind of a defensive slugfest. But I think we come out on top 21-17 in a close game, going 3-0 in this early in the season. And then the big one at Buffalo. Buffalo, I mean, they kept their safeties. I get it. I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know how they really improved, besides maybe that tight end they got in the draft. But I just don't. It's going to be tough, man, at Buffalo. The good thing about that, it's early in the year. Of course, it's not going to be cold. But the Buffalo Bills, I mean, they're the champs until someone beats them. AFC East champs. I mean, I'm not saying the playoffs. I mean, that they can never get through in the playoffs, but they are the AFC East champs. So until someone beats them, I know we beat them once last year. They beat us twice. Once in the regular season, once in the playoffs, unfortunately. But Dolphins are going in trying to make a statement, in my opinion. They're already 3-0 if everything goes right. They want to go at Buffalo with our defense gritty. Show Josh Allen things he hasn't seen with Vic Fangio's defense. Some exotic blitzes in the right time, get them flustered, and it's going to be another close one, guys. Another toss-up. But I mean, it's going to be close. It can go either way. I think we get up on them early, maybe 10-0. They put in a touchdown, make it 10-7. They eventually take the lead, and then it's kind of going back and forth. We're still down we beat them at the end in Buffalo at their home. We lead a game-winning drive with our offense. They show some moxie and get it in that end zone and shock Buffalo and shock the NFL universe. We going into our first 4 games. If Miami goes into the first 4 games this year and are 4-0, I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. You know that there's something special brewing. So for the first 4 weeks, I see nothing but rainbows and butterflies, like we like to call it, where we're 4-0, right? I'm not saying it's going to be all rainbows and sunshines moving forward, but for at least for the first 4 weeks, I believe that we come out on top in each of those games, even though there are going to be some toss-ups in there. We can either be 4-0 or 2-2 in our first 4. I mean, who knows? But as of right now, we sit at 4-0, sitting pretty. And then on our next stream, we'll go over the next 4. We're starting off with the New York Giants, which is going to be another tough team. But other than that, guys, I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of y'all for listening and watching this stream. We're going to be releasing the videos. We're going to be recording Monday and Wednesday and releasing them Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Fridays. We're really not sure yet, but it's definitely going to be Tuesdays. We're releasing the first video of the week. The second video will be either Thursday or Friday, and we're going to be doing that moving forward throughout the season. But other than that, guys, like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel and you like the content, like the Dolphins talk, hanging out, hit that subscribe button. I mean, it's free. YouTube doesn't charge you anything. Just to show some support, hit that subscribe. And like always, guys, if you guys can please hit that like button when you get into the room, just to get that algorithm with YouTube so it shows to more people that are on YouTube that are NFL fans. But other than that, guys, I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later. Fins up, baby. Peace.